Hello, Craig.
Hello, Colin.
It is time. We are on the last TOS Star Trek movie, Craig. How do you feel?
Yeah, this one ends on a high note, so I feel good.
Yes, we're talking about Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. And I gotta say, Craig, when I rewatched it again, because this is one of the Star Trek movies that I have seen multiple times, I think I might say this is the best Star Trek movie.
Fire!
No
I'm
slight
glad you said it.
towards Star Trek 2, but this is
I'm
great.
glad you said it because I've always thought that as well.
Let them die.
People always talk about the second one, and I'm
Yes.
not going to deny it is good, but I've always felt this was the better movie. It feels more like a Star Trek movie than the second one.
Yes, because the
Not that it
second
makes it
one
necessarily
is
better.
Yeah, the second one is a personal vendetta Khan has. I think I would say that Khan might be a better villain than General Chang,
The game's afoot, huh?
but this movie's plot is overall better than Star Trek 2. Or at least the story.
The story, the characters, the interactions, and you do have that nice little final send-off for the main cast.
Second star to the right. And straight on till morning.
Maybe that helps puts it a little bit over the edge. And not that two is bad, but I feel this one is just a better Star Trek movie and a better movie overall.
And going
And a
to
nice
your
send-off.
point about it being more like a Star Trek show, this does have the real world, I don't want to say allegory, but real world parallels and references to what was going on at the time because they treat Praxis. And I will say, when I saw it the first time, I did know what Chernobyl was, but I really wasn't paying attention. But it's so obvious, it's in your face that Chernobyl is Praxis, and obviously the Klingons here are the Soviet Union, and they just don't know what to do if they don't know how to go on if there is peace between the Federation and the Klingons. And I think that's great. That whole setup and premise is really great, because then carrying over from Star Trek 3, where Kirk loses his boy David, let them die.
Let them die.
Kirk is so prejudiced against them, and yeah, it's the setup for the movie is great.
And it's understandable. Like you said, his son died. They've been not at war, but they've been at a constant Cold War, constantly trying to undermine each other for decades. Basically, since they made first contact with each other, they've hated each other. And because in Kirk's time, it's been nothing but almost war with each other. So you understand why he's so prejudiced.
Yes, and I think also for this one, if there are any Sulu fans out there, and I'm sure there are, this is probably the best Sulu we get in all of the movies, even the Kelvin timeline ones too. Captain Sulu is great in this.
Come on, come on.
She'll fly apart.
Fire apart then. Target that explosion and fire.
Even for his limited screen time, he was good.
Usually you see the whole cast together. I guess it is weird to see Sulu off on his own. Maybe he should have brought some other people with him as opposed to just himself, but still, good for Sulu having his own command.
Yes, he's commanding the Excelsior, which I am a big fan of. I love the Excelsior. So cool looking.
Ah, I see you're getting more into the design of the Star Trek ships.
Well, I think when we're talking about our first episode for Star Trek, I showed a picture of all the ships I have, so I have a whole bunch. I have all the Enterprises now, though. I have the TOS, Enterprise from the motion picture to Star Trek 3, then the Enterprise A, B, C, D, E, and I have the...
Do you have the J?
I do not. That one looks so strange. But I have the Kelvin timeline ones. So, Craig,
I
what
guess
else do you like about this movie?
Well, I wanted to mention, I guess I'm a loser. I only have the main ships from the shows.
But you
The
have the
TOS
NX.
ships.
Yeah.
The NX, the TOS one, the Enterprise D. I don't have the Voyager because I didn't really care for that show, and the Defiant.
You have the Enterprise A.
I did. Or I do.
Yes.
But my collection is sparse because I can't care to get every single ship they make.
You're just not a fan.
I am, but at some point, I really want to get the Jem'Hadar fighter. Not really.
No, but I had to get all the Enterprises and the Excelsior, because why not? What else did you like, Craig?
I mean, I know we talked about the story, but the story is really what, to me, is what puts it over the edge. Star Trek 2 is a very simple revenge story. This one has a lot more going on, having to deal with the Klingons, dealing with old enemies, trying to come together, realizing that maybe we don't have to be at each other's throats and we can find a way to live more peacefully with each other.
Which is what Chancellor Gorkin calls the undiscovered country.
I offer a toast. The Undiscovered Country.
Which
Yes,
apparently
it's-
is from Shakespeare. It's like
Yeah,
not
the Klingons.
Shakespeare.
Apparently, we've read Klingon or Shakespeare in the original English, but actually, it's the original Klingon.
You have not experienced Shakespeare until you have read him in the original Klingon.
Yeah. General Chang constantly quoting the Shakespeare, Hamlet, and whatever.
Yeah, Julius Caesar, Merchant of Venice.
Quite the scholar General Chang is.
Tickle us, do we not laugh? Prick us, do we not bleed? Wrong us, Shall we not revenge? The game's afoot, huh?
Our revels now are ended, Kirk. Cry havoc! And let's slip the dogs of war. I am constant as the northern star. To be or not to be.
Yeah, if Klingons acted more like him, I would like Klingons more, but most of them are dumb brutes, so I can't like the Klingons too much.
When you say most of the Klingons like General Chang, you want them to kill their own for political motivation?
Yes, that makes the story more interesting. The Romulans do stuff like that.
That's true. What else, Craig? What else do you have for me?
But it is nice too that I know Gene Roddenberry didn't like the Enterprise being more prejudiced and being against Klingon peace, but at the end of the day, people are human and emotional. They still have unresolved feelings. Kirk's prejudice is understandable. If someone kills your son, it's kind of hard to forgive them.
Yes.
And the other people too, when they're older, they can't just move
yeah.
on.
It wasn't like it was a freak accident how David died. He was not brutally killed, but he was killed because Klingons are just, like you said, kind of brutes. So he was killed dispassionately.
Yeah, for a weapon of war.
Yeah.
Or to become a weapon of war. So all that. Even Spock was saying how he didn't realize that his protege was a saboteur because he was so proud of her achievements because she was a Vulcan.
I was prejudiced by her accomplishments as a Vulcan.
Yes, like we did talk about how Valeris was supposed to be Saavik, but Gene Roddenberry hated that idea so much. And then that's when Nicholas Meyer, who did come back to the director's chair after the kind of disappointment of Star Trek V, and he said, essentially, what do you care? I created Saavik, I could do whatever I want. But he ended up relenting, and then that's how we get Valeris, who is a little undercooked. It would have been a lot better if it was Saavik.
Yeah, I feel like that would have hit home a little more.
Because at least Saavik is a character that we know and have known for 3 movies. She's appeared in 3 movies. So, but
yes, and she would not be pregnant.
yes, and that's like a little thing. Is Valeris just shows up out of nowhere. It's kind of obvious that she's in on it. Saavik would have been a lot more blindsiding.
I agree. Gene Roddenberry, a lot of the decisions he made later on, Next Generation onward, were very weird, and he became a very weird person. So people saying he was wrong, they were normally right to disagree with him.
Yes.
Not against every little weird thing he wanted, but another instance where he was wrong.
Did he really not want any kind of prejudice? Because I understand his vision of the future is that everyone is beyond that. And that's shown in TOS, obviously. But I think when certain things happen in a story, such as Star Trek where Kirk loses his son to Klingons, I think it's understandable for that to build his kind of hatred for them.
There's a fine line between trying to be above it, but also you do get affected. If someone kills your son, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and turn off your emotions. Like, we're not all Vulcans and can turn off our emotions with a flip of a switch.
Yeah, I think Kirk is probably the perfect vehicle because he is above all of that, mostly until this happens to David. It's not like he woke up the next day and he's like, you know what? I just really hate Klingons. I want to kill them all.
Well, and even then, at the end of the movie, he realizes his mistakes and still tries to pursue peace.
Yeah.
And very basic storytelling, but he was not really...
They're dying.
Let them die.
They're dying.
Let them die.
Because I think there were other instances where he didn't like some characters even bickering with each other, having disagreements. Not that it has to get overly emotional or violent or over the top, but just having arguments or not getting along, he didn't really care for either.
Yeah, that was with TNG season 1, I think.
That's why it's so rough.
Well, it's a good thing also for this movie. The special effects for 1991 are amazing. And ILM did come back, and it really shows because the whole Battle of Khitomer is so great. It's so well done.
I'm as constant as the northern star as he's swinging his chair.
I am constant as the northern star.
I'd give real money if he'd shut up.
There's a really great shot that I don't really know how they did it unless it's entirely digital, is when the cloaked Klingon bird of prey shoots its torpedo and then we track it. We track the torpedo and it hits the underside of the Enterprise. Because it's like a lens flare. And I'm wondering, is that entirely digital or did they figure out a way to do that practically? Because that is... I don't know how they did that. Unless it is digital. If it's practical, I don't know how they did it. Because the models for the most
91.
part... Yeah, the models for the most part are real. Those are practical models. You can clearly tell when they blow up the Klingon bird of prey, which, if you don't remember, they reused that in Star Trek Generations. They reused the same shot of the Klingon bird of prey getting blown up.
I have not seen Star Trek. I don't like Star Trek Generations.
But even with that... Oh, what's that shapeshifter called? What was her name?
Marta? Or is it Marsha?
Yeah. Even her just effortlessly and seamlessly transitioning from one person to another is so well done.
Well, speaking of her, if there's one part of the movie I didn't really care for was them in prison. I understand them getting thrown in prison, the little trial scene with the cameo by Worf, but them being in prison is the one part of the movie I didn't care for as much. I know you
Okay,
have to show them get out of
so
jail.
let me ask you this, because I didn't know that was Worf. Obviously, not only did they mention him, but you could just tell the Worf voice. Is that Worf's from TNG's ancestor or father? Or is that actually the same Worf?
No. I thought that was his grandfather.
Do Klingons live longer than regular humans? Because I know Vulcans can live for a very long time.
I actually don't know the Klingon lifespan. I don't know. I would assume yes, but I can't say for certain. It feels like in most fictional shows, usually alien races tend to live longer than humans, typically. But I remember when we saw the cameo, I think that was supposed to be his grandfather.
We got to go on Memory Alpha. Okay, this is a fun fact. When Simon Pegg was co-writing Star Trek Beyond, he actually heavily used Memory Alpha.
It makes sense. It's the best wiki for Star Trek. But speaking of cameos, did you happen to catch the other cameo from Deep Space Nine?
And I don't believe was Deep Space Nine starting at that point.
No, it hadn't started yet. Technically, there's two characters from it, but there's only one that I kind of care about. Colonel West. He was briefly seen in the beginning.
Oh,
Well, he ends up playing Chief of Security Odo on the Deep Space Nine space station.
I did not know that. This is really bothering me.
I'm 99% sure that's his grandfather, just for a fun little cameo.
We're not going to move on until I figure this out. Oh, you're right. No, the character played by Michael Dorn in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, is Colonel Worf, the grandfather of the Lieutenant Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation. Okay. Because I know there is that big time gap. I think, what was it, 70 years between the end of Undiscovered Country or TOS to The Next Generation? I think it was TOS because this came out after TNG started already.
I thought it was from this movie because this takes place in the 2290s and TNG takes place in the 2360s.
Oh, you're probably right then. But yes, it is Worf's grandfather. So I guess his whole what does he have a first name then? What is up with that? That there two or maybe three of them are named Worf?
Actually, I don't know. I don't think Klingons have last names. I don't remember them ever taking one. Because in TNG and well, I think Worf does have a last name. But that's because of his human parents. I don't think he has a Klingon last name.
Oh, okay. Who cares? It's a cool little cameo, I guess. But a little confusing because they're not going to dedicate a line in the movie. Well, I hope one day my grandson will be on Starfleet.
We're used to that from Star Wars or something, other stupid adaptation.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice when you watch good movies?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed watching it. And obviously, as everybody knows, Endgame copied the ending of this with the signatures on the screen.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch. I don't think it's ever been done before, right? People like the main cast of a long-running series signing the credits.
I don't think
Nice
so.
touch.
Yeah, it was really well done. It did really feel like a farewell.
I mean, even the ending too, where the ship's all damaged, but Kirk says, "Let's just go one last trip. Second star to the right.
Yeah.
Straight on until morning."
Second star to the right. And straight on till morning.
It's great.
It's a nice ending. But there was one more cameo before we get back to the movie.
What do you got?
Admiral Cartwright. He was in Star Trek 4.
Yes, I thought I recognized him.
Yes, he also ends up playing Benjamin Sisko's father on Deep Space Nine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, small world.
Did anyone not notice him sweating bullets at the conference at the end? He looked like he just got out of the shower. You see his face?
Yeah, he was not a good poker face. Imagine whenever he plays poker, he gets just wiped by everyone else at the table.
Where would you put General Chang in the pantheon of Star Trek movie villains?
Movie villains?
Well, it's unfair to compare a movie villain to a TOS episode villain or even TNG episode villain.
True. I guess you have to put him top 2, because out of all of the ones... Are we doing the reboot as well? Or
yeah, we could do all the Star Trek movies.
I still think you put him up there with Khan, because most movies either didn't have a villain or their villains were garbage. Because you look at Star Trek 1, there wasn't really a villain.
V'Ger wasn't a villain. Obviously, Khan. Star Trek 3, we talked about. What was his name again?
Brown. I don't remember. Doc Brown.
Yeah.
He was terrible. Star Trek 4 didn't have a villain.
Yeah.
Star Trek 5 technically has a villain, but not really.
Technically Cybok, yeah, but not really.
Here's General Chang. Generations. I don't remember that guy's name. But
Sora or Sauron.
He wants to go to the ribbon. You've got the Borg Queen, who should be a powerful villain.
Right. Oh, I forgot about First Contact.
But
Well, that's more of the Borg as a whole as a villain.
the Borg themselves are great, but the Borg Queen, not as much.
I didn't even know who I remember the villain from Insurrection. It had like
It's not
rags
s-
on his face.
Yeah, wasn't some Starfleet? I don't remember.
We'll get there eventually, Craig. Don't you worry.
And Shinzon.
I have never seen Nemesis.
Nemesis, I don't think is as bad as people say it is, but we'll get to that later.
Right.
And then for the reboots, there was Nero, the Romulan, who was mad that their planet blew up because they're a bunch of idiots.
And then he took it out on Spock by going in a time rift and making old Spock watch Vulcan get destroyed, even though he could go back in the past and warn everybody on Kronos. Or no, not Kronos. That's Klingon.
Romulus.
On Romulus that their planet is going to blow up. He never thought to do that once.
Kyle, there's so much wrong with that movie. We should probably review it at some point. We could spend hours talking about all the dumb decisions made.
Let's go back to this good movie.
Well, you mentioned other villains. Real quick, you had Khan 2, pretty bad.
And Krall, who's okay.
Yeah, but that was it. So definitely a top 2 villain if you prefer Khan or General Chang.
I think I would say Khan because he was more involved in the plot. And I think he's a little bit more memorable. But General Chang kind of works in the shadows. He was a schemer.
Plus, it does make me chuckle the fact that Klingon is constantly quoting Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But
I'm as
he also
constant as the Northern Star.
I pay real money to hear him shut up.
I am constant as the northern star.
I'd give real money if he'd shut up.
But he does portray a better character, I would say, than Khan. Khan is memorable, but he's also just motivated by revenge because his ego is hurt that much. Versus Chang, it's not so much ego, but he sees himself
It's the warrior
as...
that doesn't want to lose the warrior way without conflict.
Yeah, he'd rather die in conflict. He doesn't want to live in peace. He probably can't survive in peace.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing, essentially, is that the people who were prejudiced for whatever reasons, they just couldn't imagine a world without this conflict because they've been so used to it.
Yeah, the change scares them.
Yeah.
Even Spock makes that remark where, are we becoming so inflexible in our thinking?
Yeah.
We two, you and I, have grown so old and so inflexible that we have outlived our usefulness.
Which, by the way, I actually really like Spock in this movie, and it is kind of strange how different Spock is from 5 to 6. And I am going to assume it has to do with the 3-year gap in the story, because Sulu mentioned earlier on that he has been the captain, or that he's been on a voyage for the Excelsior for 3 years.
After 3 years, I've concluded my first assignment as master of this vessel.
So I'm assuming that's the 3 years where Spock is slowly becoming the Spock we know and love from TOS in the first 2 movies. But he's totally different from Star Trek V. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to really harp on that too much either. I don't care what the reason is. He acts more like Spock.
Yes.
And plus, there's only so much jokes you can make about the fact that he was essentially reincarnated.
Yeah, he only mentioned it once. And I always liked it, especially in those episodes of TOS, where Spock would have a moment to shine where he would show how powerful Vulcans are. Because the way J.J. Abrams thinks Vulcans are is that they're superhuman, and they kind of are, but he treated Spock like an emotional baby who punches people violently. But Spock uses his powers at the end to gain an upper hand and figure out the plot. The Vulcan mind meld, and the way he does it too, it's more scary when he slowly walks up to you and then does the mind meld. And then instead of him running and screaming and punching.
He can hide his emotions very well, but you could see, as subtle as it was, how upset that he was. And how
when he slapped the
angry he was
gun out of Valeris's hands.
Yeah, like forcefully grabs her, which maybe it's not as subtle as I'm remembering, but it's definitely not, like you said, the J.J. Abrams where he's crying and punching people in the face.
Because Spock, at face
restraint.
value, he's very powerful, but he's restrained. I don't know, I like Spock. Not always. Spock's awesome.
Well, plus I like the moment where Spock brings a Dr. McCoy and he's wanting to perform surgery with me.
Fascinating.
Doctor, would you care to assist me in performing surgery on a torpedo?
Fascinating.
She's ready, Jim. Lock and load.
She's ready, Jim! Lock and load!
Can we talk
that
about
whole
movies that
sequence
we
is
can
so
quote?
great too. The torpedo.
Can we talk about movies that we can quote? I know all of us will say, she's ready, Jim. Lock and load.
We got a heartbeat.
We've got a heartbeat!
Yeah, Bones
Yes,
is
I
great
see
in
those
this
too.
too. And I read online that since Leonard Nimoy was an executive producer in this film, he negotiated hard for all the cast, and he gave DeForest Kelley a $1 million salary for his retirement.
What a bro.
Yeah. They're dying, Jim. Let them die.
Let them die.
I even like in that scene too where he said the Vulcan ambassador's like, I know the Vulcan ambassador's your dad. Like Spock's trying to be a little coy and Kirk's seen right through it.
What else, Craig?
So I mentioned before that I didn't really care much for the prison scenes. What did you think?
It gave the movie a nice chance to kind of slow down. Obviously, it wasn't nearly as interesting as the political assassination plot or Spock and them trying to figure out that, oh, it is actually a cloaked bird of prey somehow, the prototype. Which I'm surprised the Klingons never tried to do that earlier.
The cloaked bird of prey? Well,
The prototype that can shoot while cloaked.
well, from what I remember, Klingons get their cloaking devices from the Romulans. So if anyone were to figure out first, it would be the Romulans.
Okay, interesting. Because I think also the prison scene gave us some funny moments. The one that it was like, all right, was when Jim beat up that creature, and he said, I didn't know he had weak knees or whatever. Not everybody keeps their genitals in the same spot, Captain. I'm like, all right. But what was funny was in that thing, that creature kissed Kirk, and then Bones says, what is it with you?
What is it with you, anyway?
Yeah, I like that, but I didn't really care as much. Maybe it's me nitpicking, but the rest of the movie's great. When we get to the prison, not my favorite scenes, but everything else is really good. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but if I were to complain about something I didn't like, it was those scenes compared to the rest of the good movie.
Yeah, and the movie is a little bit, it's not super dark, but it's a little darker with obviously the assassination. And when all those other Klingons get killed too, one gets his arm shot off and there's just blood everywhere, the Klingon purple blood. And they really were emphasizing how cold it was outside at that prison planet because they kept on showing corpses in the snow.
Well, you know why they gave Klingons pink blood? Because if it was red blood,
yeah, it would have changed the rating.
Which is really silly. Oh, pink blood, that's okay. Oh, Transformers, you can get your
yeah.
like,
I was gonna mention that. That's the parallel. Oh, it's a robot who has intricate cords and electrical tendons getting ripped out, and then there's this red fluid spraying out. You can decapitate somebody, and the MPA won't think twice. Oh, that's so silly.
Yeah, I always think of Optimus ripping out Megatron's head and spine.
And him executing a Sentinel.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, we see a little red blood. Ooh, I don't know about that, Chief. Gotta turn that to pink blood so we can put that in the movie.
Yeah. I think also we didn't really talk about music so far in our Star Trek reviews, but I thought the music was really exciting and well done in this movie. Especially towards the end, obviously the Battle of Kitmur, which is so great again. That sequence, I think, might be one of my favorite in all the Star Trek movies.
Well, it helps that this is one of the good ones because a lot of the other movies have great battle scenes.
I know, but still a great sequence.
I mean, this would probably be the best battle scene, right? What other movies could you even compare it to?
Star Trek 2? I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I haven't
the original
seen
movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen Nemesis, so I don't know if there's any kind of battles. I don't think a lot of them have ship battles besides In a Darkness. Yuck. What was that big ship called again? The Vengeance, the USS Vengeance.
I don't think they would ever name a ship the Vengeance.
No. Might as well call it like the USS Persecutor.
No, the USS Execution or the USS something horrible.
Yeah, the USS Bad Guys.
That's like something you'd see in the Mirror Universe.
I think they're more subtle in the Mirror Universe than that.
They also don't have to be settled. They're supposed to be bad guys, and it's not played for less, but it's a little sillier. Like
Spock
Spock's
has
got the
the
goatee.
mustache. Oh yeah, goatee, not mustache.
Because I've been rewatching the new Trek stuff, and they keep talking about they love Section 31 in the Mirror Universe. Just very
You're
silly.
watching that stuff?
No. I watch reviews about it. I don't watch it.
Oh. Okay.
God, no.
What
What kind
else
of
do you
Star
have,
Trek
Craig?
fan do you take me for?
I don't know. Well, I do know that Leonard Nimoy wrote the story because it said here that his idea was what would happen if the wall came down in space, obviously referring to the Berlin Wall. And I think Star Trek probably works best when it's able to kind of not so much piggyback, but have a real world reference to be inspired by.
I also think it works better when they play more into the other alien races of the universe.
Yes.
Because a lot of the other movies were just isolated events that weren't great stories. Having the Klingon Empire, which we've seen ever since the 60s, finally this rivalry kind of come to an end. It's a nice little, wrapping like almost the TOS in a nice little bow.
I believe in TNG, they mentioned a couple times, I can't remember, that There is no more neutral zone, right? Because of this?
Well, there's the Romulan neutral zone, but I guess
Oh, but the
not
Klingon? Okay. I will say, though, for this movie, it is so great that they brought back Nicholas Meyer, because he directed the 2 best Star Trek movies.
It's true. I mean, everyone says that 2 and 6 are the best. I don't think anyone's going to be a contrarian and say, actually, Star Trek Generations is the best.
There might be some people, maybe.
Oh, well, there's always somebody, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine it's a large percentage of people.
Do you have anything else? We could wrap it up if not.
Oh, another thing that was kind of silly.
Yes.
Uhura didn't get to do much in this film, but they
Mhm.
had her unable to translate Klingon and she had to pull out textbooks.
Oh, yes, yes. I guess they just wanted that little comedic beat.
I guess they should have had someone else. Someone like her should have been able to speak Klingon or at the very least.
Understand
Not
it.
pick up a textbook. Where do they even find the textbooks? Isn't everything in their computer?
Yeah. Hello, computer. Yeah, it's a little nitpick, though.
Yeah. So where would you so far out of all these 6 movies, how would you rank them?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Probably 6, 2, 4. This might be controversial. Maybe 1, 3, 5. I didn't really enjoy the 3rd movie that much, if I'm being honest.
My list is, well, obviously the first 3 are going to be the same.
Yeah.
6, 2, 4.
Uh-huh.
Then these next 3, it's not as clear cut for me because I don't really care much for them.
Yeah.
Maybe 3, 5, 1.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't feel as strongly where they rank because to me it's 2 separate tiers. Ones I like watching and ones I don't like watching.
Yeah. I don't think anyone will really come after you for that list. Maybe
The
they'll
one guy
say
just tries to hunt me down.
maybe they'll say Star Trek 5 is too high. I don't know. I actually, when I rewatched the first one we talked about, I enjoyed it a good amount. It wasn't a good time. I enjoyed it.
Understandable. You're wrong, but understandable.
That's fair enough. You could say that. That's fair enough. But I am glad that we got to finish our Star Trek TOS movie talk on a good note. Our TNG talk will not end like that at all. Or at least our TNG movie talk will not end like that.
Well, first you have to finish TNG.
I think we can get to the movies relatively soon because I know season 3, which is what I'm on TNG. That's the best of both worlds. So hopefully by the time we get to First Contact, I'll at least have seen that.
Yes, but season 7 of TNG plays into Generations.
Ah, great. All right. Well, maybe we'll find some other things to do, or review. But maybe we can do the TNG movie soon. Who knows? Who knows? But with that being said, Craig, do you have anything else for the very great Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country?
No, like we said, it's easily the best Star Trek movie. It's the one I probably have seen the most because it's simply the best.
It has a really great rewatchability too.
It's nice when also these movies end on a high note. Is it just me, but I feel that a lot of things end on a pretty sour note where it kind of hurts the overall product.
Yeah.
Sure, there might be some bumps along the way, but if it ends on a high note, I feel like that really stays with the audience more. I think all these TV shows that end terribly, like Game of Thrones and the Star Wars sequel trilogy, not that it ever started great, but it ended on such a horrible note that no one likes the Star Wars franchise anymore.
Yeah, but we got to see the signatures of the whole Enterprise crew as they went off into the sunset or whatever that sun was.
Live happily ever after until Kirk gets trapped and sent 70 years into the future.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that now. But yeah, check out Star Trek 6. It's great. With all that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
And we will see you next time.
Fire!